Yay, what it all out, huh? We was cracking, on round two. We had Julia first. Julia, are you ready?
The worst version of myself is in constant conflict with the best, the truest, the most elevated part of my soul's experience through the eyes of the one I call me. People that I come into contact with absorb my energy, which creates a ripple effect. Everyone generates their own frequency, a wave that navigates according to the ways that we individually choose to behave each and every day. If we decide to face the current situation with anger, rage, self-pity or shame, then the result will be detrimental, drowning us in toxic waste produced from a chemical, from a signal sent out from the brain, ready to stand in battle or rapidly escape with a blast of adrenaline. However, this is all just insane, because you're probably in a far from dangerous place, like lying in your bed, while thoughts race around your head. See, the body is smart, but it completely relies on the mind to act as its eyes, as it cannot think thoughts and reality apart, believing a bad thought to be a physical pain, releasing properties to shelter and aid us to survive, happening too often in unnecessary times. If you don't react as though you're being attacked, then the body has no option but to resign in soaking up these chemicals that actively circulate inside, needing at the body, needing to be set free, manifesting into entities that decide to take your health on a joyride through measures as extreme as illness and disease. Now can you see the power of our thoughts, a tool brought to humans through evolution that can be used to create anything. Just look back in history. The caveman wouldn't have believed that such thing as electricity could ever be born. Think of the infinite possibilities still waiting to be sought. So why is it that so many decide to anchor and suppress the capability of their mind, depriving it of stimulating exercise, concealing its genius so it sinks to the abyss? Now, I'm not saying that we're all destined to devise the next technological breakthrough that's yet to be designed. However, I'm saying if you consciously make time to sit and analyse possibilities to revive the part of your life that you've made into a sad and depressing story, then maybe you'll take responsibility for your obscurity as well as your glory. Step into the belief that you are the star of your reality. I'm not feeding you an ideology, just approaching things differently, like the Celestine prophecy. Only you can decide what path to choose. Each action determines whether you win or lose.
Thank you, that was Julia. I see this kid getting bullied by 4 kids. I thought to step in. He didn't have a chance against 5 of us. Next we have Jerry Clarkson.
Every day new stars are born in distant nebulas, while aging stars diminish and implode in supernovas, and as new worlds are formed amongst this star-filled cosmos, remember, we are all manifestations of this creative chaos, and we are all amalgamations of eternal stardust, shaped by 14 billion years of solar winds. We were born on interstellar storms, and we are the accumulation of ancient struggles realised in human form. And as we spin around this galaxy at an incredible rate, as we rapidly rotate while the universe methodically turns at its own pace, does it quietly dictate the path we've been chosen, the road we must take? Is this a journey of self-discovery rather than a race? And if this is the case, I ask myself, what is truly at stake? What do we destroy and what do we create? If we take the wrong path, is it always a mistake? Because if we learn from this experience what road to take, and that winding journey leads us to a time and space where our calling is recognised as something to appreciate. And we find our path, our life's true purpose, and we discover our true worth within the vastness of this universe. And then we come to a place where our spirits can shine, then have the challenges faced just been lessons from the divine that help us see the opportunities that appear when stars align? Because when stars align and opportunities unfold, we don't always have the courage to be bold. We're not always prepared to take the untravelled road, whether it's our youth and inexperience or it's because we feel we're too old. But it's at these journeys we must go on in order for our spirits to mould, and so that the knowledge we've gained can allow us to take hold of our own rhythm and make claim to our own vibration, and then enable us to evolve into all that we can. But do we have to learn certain lessons in order to move on? Do we have to learn certain lessons in order for our souls to grow and in order for our consciousness to reach a higher plateau? And when it feels like we continually have mountains to climb, when life feels like a challenge, a constant upward incline, is it just the universe shaping our hearts and minds and preparing us for that moment when stars align? And so when challenges bring darkness and the path seems unclear and the stars guiding light seem to disappear, keep striving forward and face all of your fears and have faith that those flickering lights will soon reappear and the star clouds will soon dissipate and those stars will again reappear. And don't be defeated by the struggles that may lie ahead. Don't give up that fight, don't crawl back into bed. Get up, stand up and look up at the stars and look back at the wonders of your journey, the roads travelled so far, and see the wonders of creation that we all are. And then be comets, be trailblazers, light up the sky, shoot for the stars and always aim high, because we are stardust, we are not just elements on periodic tables. We are infused with magic and we are the stuff of legends and fables. And when we look up at the stars and see those lights flicker and shine, realise that they've always been offering us these signs, and they've been offering us clues to a wondrous gift. They've just been waiting for our souls and our spirits to shift. And when we feel that rhythm from the universe, that touch from the divine, and we open our hearts, then our souls can find that when we allow our spirits to shift, we can forever be with the stars aligned. Thank you.
Gary Clarkson, everyone. Next up is Kieran Fox. Kieran?
So this one is the you within you. I'm profoundly curious in the you within you. The you that I invariably notice when time becomes no more than waves rippling above this moment of epiphany. You see, I see you while you look at me. What I've betrayed to be my identity is the person everyone sees, is the person I am right now. A vessel of muscle, bone and flesh wearing similar dress. For your thoughts and decisions to interact with me is bounced by prejudice. Whose first thought is, look how he's dressed, rather than what's beneath his breast. And no two thoughts alike, I wonder who's the you who lies beyond my feeble eye, whose vision decides with past experience and cultural norms, and hence sometimes prejudice doesn't open the door. And you don't allow yourself to see what it is to see the me within me. Now I ask you, what's happening right now? To whom is this happening to? And finally, who notices? Where is the I that is doing the noticing, forever focusing? Where does that person live? Beyond any ideas or comprehension to the self-aware reflection. What if the source of that person was inherently loving and whole? The you within you that is your soul. That's why I'm profoundly curious in the you within you.
We're going for Kieran. Next we have Colin.
This is self-mockery practice. People often tell you not to write about writing, because often the readers of writing are writers themselves, and voicing opinions that they might write off as wrong is not a good idea. But this is a poem about speaking, about how the meaning of the things I am meaning to convey might mean something totally different based on the way I choose to intonate. And it might cross your mind as I crisscross my words to imply that I'm intricate and get you really into it, that I might too be intuitive enough to insinuate a meaning into the words I'm apparently waving away all doubt that I maybe might not know what the fuck I'm on about. And it seems to me, at least if seams could be unpicked, I seem to see a pattern emerging among poetical persons who stand to pretend to be teaching while we all pretend to be learning. And if I may speak in a way that you perceive to be out of line, I do this all the time. I call it the final word worship, wherein each sentence I'm speaking, the tension is peaking and the pace is increasing as I race along the type track of types of crap I've typed into that machine until finally the last word I intonate to gleam. Thoughtfulness. This is a poem about thoughtfulness because my story is way beyond what you were expecting. You came for comedy, now I'm talking about living my life for a daily injection, or I've got debts to pay because, surprise, I'm gay, but I'm not anymore. I've got a girlfriend, you see, and if I worded that right, it could be comedy. Now, on the hot topic of themes, let's call it theoretical thermodynamics, I begin to exacerbate the atmosphere with anecdotal entrappings, enrapturing your indulgence and encapsulating your investment by gradually making that theme more and more deep, until it's like really deep. For instance, we begin with the insistence that the poem is about a menial thing, such as some substance of serendipity or a family fling, when the topic adopts one with darker potential and suddenly shock! Horror! It's not spitting no more, the rain's fucking torrential! It goes from baby blues to never worn baby shoes, fashion culture to the unfashionable adulterer, and lo and behold I complain about growing old, throwing some teenage angst and itchy trigger finger because I've had it down my antsy pants and angry panting, never stopped the dog's bark from biting, so now I'm stinging with me writing. Fighting, frightening, lightning, someone else. I guess what I'm preaching is keep a lookout for the meaning. Fancy wording should never hide motive. If repetition ever wins out over genuine message, God forbid that day. Oh wait, shit, Theresa May.
I messed up the order. It was Joe and just Joe supposed to go. And anyway, I mean, you guys don't worry. They will kick my butt later. It's Joe.
Hello. This might not be for you because you're here, but this is for all our brothers and sisters who haven't learned. So it's called the Big Brainwash. For all the people with the 50-inch, 60-inch and 70-inch on the stand or hanging off the wall, the ones with the camera, the voice recognition, the internet, the curve, the ones that have got it all, I've got a message for you. Get away from the screen and take a big step back. And well done. You just took your first step into recovery and taking your life back. You control your life, not the TV remote. So listen to these words that I wrote for you in this note. Life is the main programme, and this reality is a commercial. The brainwashing's begun and it's no dress rehearsal. The signal's being sent and the peasants are all tuning in. For the opening credits, the big show's about to begin. Fear's about to rule these waves, like the British Empire in its heyday. So make sure the receivers are switched on to listen to everything that they say. Because they're not telling lies. They wouldn't dare do that to you. You see all their evidence with your eyes, surely they're telling the truth. There's no personal agendas behind the things that you see. They're not getting you prepped for the game of pick me. I'll lead this country and don't listen to the other guy. He's spreading his fear and he's telling you lies. When it's all a big game, they're getting us hyped up. Everyone's down at the pubs talking about terrorists and immigrants instead of government cuts. Because they're trying to divide us. They're shitting themselves because they're seeing we can all live together. We're all working the same jobs, kids in the same school, and we're all under the same shitty British weather. And you know, the more we realise we're all from the same, then the more it'll continue down the generations again and again. And it'll keep getting larger, and we'll become a collective. And everything we're owed, we'll turn around and collect it. We'll kick the fuckers out and we'll never let them back. We'll tell them you can keep your money and your capitalism, your figures and your facts. You can keep your fear, we can't be divided. In fact, you can go fuck yourselves. You can keep your wars in other countries and your privatised health. You can keep your student fees and you can keep your austerity. You can keep your immigration laws and you can keep your foreign policies, because now we control the message and we're beaming it out to the world and the universe, and we'll scream and we'll shout peace, love and prosperity, and obviously good health is how we determine our happiness and is what we perceive as our wealth. And if you want to be a part of the collective, all you have to do is tune in, and instead of listening to them, play your part in our show that's about to begin. Thank you.
That was Just Joe. Next we have Blue Saint.
Civil rights.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you a public service announcement. This is a public broadcast that broadly broadcasts itself among the poor class, the poor chaps, and of course them posh chaps that be wearing them top hats. Yeah. Meaning this message is for everybody. So listen in as I pour pure facts through this microphone that's currently held in my coarse grasp. And as my raw thoughts blow past, I hope you store what I pour. Because this message is for the civilians. It's for the little city children that be sitting innocent, sifting through the messages I be spitting through. But let me specify. I'm specifically spitting lyrics to hit the spirits of these smitten fools, but also in order to speak to you about the truth. Because our society is polluted. There's black waters filled with mass pollutants, whilst white waters build a brighter future. Black slaughtered, killed, and night is stupid. Just look at Emmett Till. I mean, the same looks can kill, but he was literally killed for looking at a woman till his blood was spilled on the ground. It's ill. Forced to drown in Tallahatchie River for a wolf whistle. This is what I cared. The husband must have been looking for peace of mind. Figured he'd take out a piece and find. And the tenants pull out Emmett's peace of mind. Tell the good to emit a piece of sound. Similar how to emit hit the ground. They gouged his eye out and before he could cry out. The bullet was used to crack through his cranium. And the tissues it blew, concaved his brains and bits. Sprayed on the panes and made us raise our fists. And engaged the parade through this great abyss. So that we may raise and lift or race from this tasteless ditch. But that is just one example. That is just a small sample, a fragment that shows the vast scandals that occur in our society. You see, we were once tuned to believe we look like baboons just due to the fact our skin's maroon, but black is beautiful. So let's let our hair free, let our follicles breathe as I throw the system, as Huey Newton did for our freedom. You see, I have a dream that we can all be kings like Martin Luther. So let's not revel in hate, let's make solutions. And we used to put Congolese so we could look like Europeans, but now we know who we are. From the sitting of Rosa Parks to the decisions made by hearts, from the X Factor Malcolm Little possessed to the rest after the 1960s that expressed and professed that we must act as one nation, one people, one foundation, so we can found our future. Hallelujah, we've made it. Thank you.
That was Blue. Next we have Francesca.
This is Hans. He's got big hands, Cornish making hands, safe hands, Celtic fighting hands held like branches, steadfast and strong, great hands. Rivers of fingerprints, Stonehenge knuckles, crafted from old magic, woven by his grandmother's grandmother, blessing his hands to a witch who needed them. He's got good hands, temple building hands. I know, because when he touches me, he carves me out of marble. You'd be pressed to find a set of hands that can sculpt a thigh so well. To love is to place my heart into his godlike hands and watch him hold it to his chest when it could be used as kindling. He's got the best hands. Heavy, grounding hands that must once have been feathers. No one laughs like he does unless you know how to fly. He's got worn hands, seaboat steering hands, weathered hands smoothed by salt, arms outstretched leading Vikings over oceans, and I, his Valkyrie, singing songs of war beside him. Hands that struck the match which lit the fires in the monasteries. There is old blood on his hands. Sometimes I swear he sees it. We have washed his hands in so many sacred springs, and now when I trace his palm, it draws a map between every penny I've ever dropped into a wishing well. And on those nights those healing hands don't grace their presence on my body, I am left without confession when I am dying little deaths. He has such soft hands, gentle, graceful hands. Everything he touches turns to such warm shades of amber. He turns his palms up to the sky sometimes and asks me how I make them shake. So you are telling me that I make this mountain nervous? I tell him when we met, I was dead in places the weeds couldn't reach, but he came with his gardening hands, pressed deep into the soil of my soul and ripped it out to start again fresh, like a silver spring morning, and filled every nook and cranny with every hope I've ever lost. Your hands will shake when you hold that kind of power, to not only heal a wound, but to remove it from existence every time he takes my face into his fingers. Thank you.
Bravo, Francesca. Next we have David Miller. Hello everybody again, I'm back like a back penny. Should anybody want to do the hokey cokey? Oh, this is the hokey cokey Brexit mix, okay? So join in with the chorus, okay? You put David Davis in, out, in Dominic Raab, in Darky Barkley, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey, turns country upside down. That's what it's all about. Come on now. Whoa, hokey cokey. Whoa, hokey cokey. Whoa, hokey cokey. Knees bent, arms stretched, let me out. You put the right wing in, the moderates out. In, out, you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn the country upside down. That's what it's all about. Whoa! Whoa! Hokey cokey! Whoa! Hokey cokey! Whoa! Hokey cokey! Knees bent, arms stretched, let me out. You put the Farage in, Boris too. Michael Gove and that bloody twat mob. In, out, you shake them all about. You shake them all about. You do the hokey cokey and you turn around. That's what it's all about. All together now. Hokey cokey. Come on. Hokey cokey. Knees bent, arms stretched, let me out. You put the party first. We want to raise it out. In, out, out. You're shaking this country about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn against Europe. That's what it's all about. Now wait for it. I join on each line. Whoa, you're gonna live on beans. Whoa, you're gonna live on beans. Whoa, you're gonna steal your neighbour's peas. Whoa, you're gonna steal your neighbour's peas. Whoa, no medicines to heal. Whoa, no medicines to heal. Knees bent, arms stretched, you're begging on the streets. Thank you. That was David. Next we have Prerna Kumar.
In 2016, the Maneka Gandhi, the Indian Minister for Development of Women and Children, stated that the concept of marital rape as understood internationally cannot be suitably applied in the Indian context. Because marriage is sacrament. You tell me where the sacrament in this is, because this is what sacrament leaves behind, more sound than human and still not a crime. The heavy book slipping down a bookcase. A 10-year-old worries if she stacked the encyclopedias the wrong way, huddled behind a closed door. The rhythm builds and she falls asleep to a syncopated lullaby. She will only realize what these sounds are one ravaged night a year from then. Open, and she does not know this is not an invitation for her to slip through the door, or before her mother to accept without objection a blood sacrament. When Larkin said they fuck us up, I wondered if the only reason Pinocchio had a nose was because his father slipped with the saw. I wonder about how a generation grew up, chopped and quartered, haunted without even realizing what they lost to the slaughter. Noses, silence, a heart full of laughter, lost. I wondered what my father deigned to deny me. Was I conceived in sound then? Was I conceived where consent was my father's saw and not my mother's law? How'd you live with the ghost of a whispered no? Lost somewhere in the static. How'd you live with the realization that you were simply sacrifice on your mother's part, a lazy fuck off your father's privilege card? That girl, she cannot play certain tunes on the piano. Why? She still the sounds of that lullaby. I am still the sounds the sacrament spilled when I was 10, 11, 12. I am these sounds today, a sea voyage away, and yet I hear that thumping lullaby. My mother still serves her sacrament. Your sacrament will cause me to be these sounds as long as I pick up the phone every morning to ask my mother if she woke up smiling. When you hold your parliament sessions, it'll be what sings in the static of your mics, what rings in the dial tones of an international call. Yeah, you've left a legacy true to your pure Indian blood, but it is the phantom of our whole and human and flesh-bodied a generation would have been, instead of a ghostly. Thank you.
That was Prerna Kumar. I mean, to this day, the boy used to bully me in school still takes my lunch money. On the plus side, he makes the best Subway sandwiches at my workplace in Salford University. Yum. Next we have Great Query.
I was imagining what Seamus Heaney would have said to his father whenever he broke the news to him that he wasn't going to be working on the family farm. Instead he was going to be not an engineer or a doctor, but a bloody poet. And then I thought it would be more fun to imagine what Seamus would have said to his own son when his son said he wasn't going into the family business, which was poetry. Why can't you be a poet like your dad? Always talk of farming. It's nothing but a fad. You should stick to rhyming couplets and sonnets, good or bad. Forget this farming nonsense if you've any sense, me lad. If the neighbours ever found out about this, they'd think we'd all gone mad. Why can't you be a poet like your dad? But Dad, I've got the farming bug for sure, and there's no known cure. There are hardships to endure, but it's a life that's true and pure, with the irresistible allure of silage and manure. I want to be a farmer, I've never been so sure. For your father, his father, and his father before him, the old poetry wasn't living, though we had to scrape and scrim, wore our fingers through the bone, stuck it out through thick and thin. That's not good enough for you, you'll know. You've got this farming one. But Dad, farming's in my soul. Agriculture is my role. Helping horses foal, digging spuds out of a hole. I want to be a farmer. It's the new rock and roll. Never put the stupid farming notion in your head. You've been watching too much telly, it's what your mother said. And those filthy farming magazines you found underneath your bed, those dirty farming DVDs locked up in the shed. Forget this farming nonsense, be a poet instead. But Dad, I took gold and corn and sowed, o'er ploughed fields I will throw it. In the winter I will hoe it, in the summer I will mow it. But I could never be a poet. In my heart of hearts, I realise it. And leaving all the hard work you poor brothers and me, trudging down to the Hay on Wye Literary Festival to read poetry for a miserable fee, and those proxy Fulbright lectures at Harvard University, while you're prancing around like a prat in some fancy pigsty with shag up to your knees. Forget this farming nonsense, be a poet, please. Be a poet, please. But Dad, I don't want to be a poet or a singer or an actor. I want to make my living sitting up upon a tractor and injecting sickly dry cows with anabolic prophylactor. And the women that you get, there is another factor, with a John Deere baseball hat and Willie boots out with a tractor. I want to be a farmer. It's a sex factor. Whatever makes you think you make your living off the land? This woolly talk of sheep and cows, it's all very grand. But there's no Arts Council grants for working with your hands. Why can't you be a poet like a real man? But Dad, I want to stride through the fields with my dog and gun, with sheep and pigs and hens, and an orchard would be fun, where I could walk among long dappled grass and pluck till time and tides are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. If that's what you want, son, I won't stand in your way. And if this farming lark works out, you might get rich one day. And when you're standing there in your great big farming boots, don't be too proud to say, I might be a farmer now, but I started out from humble poetry roots.
The UK is being bullied by the EU. Hi, I'm Dominic Robb, and thank God you don't have any rotten tomatoes. Next, we have Lucy Pickens.
So this next poem is about unrequited love, called Vignette of Love. I loved him from day one. I knew he was the one, ever since I saw him throwing out, one by one, a bunch of scallies from the doorway of the cafe.